Well, I think even when I was growing up, I was always into sports. I grew up in a household of like five or six boys because we all lived together. There were lots of cousins, lots of male presence in the house, which is why I think I kind of toughened up as a young girl at a very early stage, just by spending a lot of time with them. By getting bullied by them and then bullying them in return. So I think my childhood was quite, I had a lot of memories with all my cousins. But I think that is where actually my interest towards sports and predominantly cricket grew because we used to be, whenever there was a match that was going on, it used to be quite a festive occasion in the house because we used to have people over. We used to be, having dinners. We used to be watching the game. And also, let's not forget that my father used to play cricket. He's played first class cricket. Him and Ramesh Raja sort of grew up together in college. And I used to see a lot of these cricketers come over into my house as well. So it was something, it was a natural inclination. And even my mother, although she belongs to a very diverse field, but she was always into sports. And even she used to play sports in her college. She was into cricket. Like she used to, I think she covered the 99 World Cup for a magazine as well, or for a newspaper. So I think it was in my genes. It was given to me by my parents. And I think just by spending a lot of time with all my cousins and all my siblings, I think it was the natural calling for me. That's where I really started realizing that I'm very, very passionate about this, and I'm very passionate about cricket. So I think when I graduated, well, I did my master's degree in marketing from University of Warwick. At that time, I was kind of lost, like in terms of what I want to be doing with my life. I worked at Caterpillar for a year, which is an engineering firm. I'm sure you must have seen the C80 yellow trucks that you see. And I just realized that I don't want to do a 9 to 5 job. It's just not something that I want to be doing, and I knew that I won't be able to survive in that. So I was trying to look into things that really interest me, and beauty was one aspect. I was always more of a creative kid. I was not a theoretical, practical one. I was always very creative. I was good with colors, and I was good with aesthetics generally. So that was one thing that fascinated me: beauty and the power of transforming people, right? Making them happy, giving them happiness via that. And the other thing was cricket. Cricket was always something which was very close to me, and I was very passionate about it. So when I got back, I wanted to do something on my own, and my parents, both my parents really encouraged me that do whatever you like, but just give in your 100%. So I started this beauty business. I did a few courses, and I set up a studio in my earlier house, and I started taking clients. And I had experience because I did somewhat, some of my work was on the sides in England. When I was in England, I used to do this on the side. I worked at Harrods for a bit in the beauty department, and like I did a London Fashion Week. I helped out with that, so I gained a bit of experience. I was also, like doing all these courses from here in Pakistan. So I thought, let's do this, and I started doing reasonably well. Like I started making my name in that field. There's never a shortage of market when it comes to beauty and all in Pakistan. Um, but then I got this opportunity towards the end of 2014. I heard that there's an opening at Dunya News, and they're looking for somebody involved with sports, or somebody who can talk about sports. And like the specification wasn't very obvious, but it was just an opening. So my mother encouraged me. She was like, "Why don't you go and audition for it?" And I was like, "I've never faced a camera in my life. I have no idea what this is going to be about." And yeah, I was directionless at that point of time. But I knew my subject very well. So I just very nonchalantly went over. I gave an audition, and they were really impressed. The audition included me sitting on a set, on a real set, like just asking me questions about, it was like a mock trial. It was like a mock show that I was doing with them, asking me questions on cricket, on the relevant topic that we were talking about. And I was so confidently answering them that they were like, "It doesn't seem like you're facing the camera for the first time." And I said to them, "Yeah, because to me, talking about this is something which is very natural, something that I do on a regular basis in my dining room, in my drawing room, with my cousins, with my family. And because I was so naturally inclined towards it, it just helped me perform at a bigger stage as well, such as a live set. So that kind of there was like a dominoes effect. After that, I gave several auditions and I passed all my auditions and I got the job. Now that job was for the World Cup in 2015, but it was only for a specific period. I had no training in front of the camera, I had no formal experience, and I was working. I just think that I got lucky because I got a very good boss, who was also a fresh graduate from Ganda, and I think he saw something in me at that time, and he kind of pushed me into it to really pursue it. And yeah, I mean, that was that. That's how it all started. But the contract was for a month for the World Cup, but then they said that, we want you on board for longer, and we want you to get into this full time, and I did, because like I said, it was my passion, and I was happy that I was doing something that I love. I think it has, well, my mom primarily, because I think she, as a parent, when kids come up with some unique ideas that this is what they want to do, this is what they want to do, sometimes you don't really get a favorable reaction. As parents, they always want you to be securing fields which are bankable, like, oh, become a banker, or become a or become a doctor, or become an engineer, or like the sorted fields that we have, or become a teacher, take up this profession, that profession. I think with me, my mother was one who, despite me giving her random ideas that, oh, I think I want to do this or I want to do that, she was always very encouraging. And all my life, I've seen her work as well. She's been a working woman, and I think I took inspiration from that. And then my first boss, Bilal Afzal, I always take his name, who was with me at Dunia News. He's somebody who really pushed me into doing different things. Despite the fact that I was working at Dunia News, they allowed me to do the PSL. Now, the PSL is something which is with the PCB, the Pakistan Cricket Board. It's a different entity altogether, and I was in a contract with Dunia News. But he actually encouraged me to sort of, to go for it. Because when I asked him, when I got the opportunity, I said, do you think I can do this? Do you think it's going to be good for me? And do you think this is possible even working at Dunya News? And he gave me that month off to actually go and explore this opportunity. So you don't get that here a lot in the media industry that we all work in. People are very territorial. People are very much like, oh, if you're working for us, you can't work for anybody else. People have all these issues, but he was somebody who genuinely wanted to see me grow and become what I am today. So I think these two people are one from my personal life and the other person at work, and he knows because I always mention his name. Yeah, these two people. See, I think now the world is changing. Like if you look at my field, when I started, I don't think there were many women around doing this job, right? There were a few, but I'm saying nobody really took it seriously. And a woman talking about sports was not taken seriously. That was also one of the things. It was considered something which, she's just there for a glamour role, or just to be there because of her face, or because of her, you're on television, so people think that you're there just because of the way you look. Whereas sports is much more complicated than that. You need to know the game, you need to have an understanding of what's going on. Only then can you reach a certain level. You won't be able to reach a certain level if you don't have the understanding of it. So I think I've seen things change, evolve over the years. Now we have more women into this field. Now we see women commentators around the world. We see women cricketers, women cricket being given so much importance now. The Sana Mirs of the world, and uh, there is a certain, the times are changing. So I think the acceptance level that you're talking about, maybe like years back it was different. I think now it has become a little more open. I'm not saying that all the mindsets have changed. Of course, you can't change everybody's mindset, but it is evolving, it is becoming better. Because had that not been the case, you wouldn't see all these women taking participating in sports. And you look at somebody like a Kulsum Hazara, or you look at Samina Bay, the mountaineer. I mean, like, I'm just saying that you're seeing many more women sort of come forth, and this is a reflection of the changing the changing mentality in the country. Like I said, not everybody, but it's happening now. I think the sports board can play a massive role. First of all, you need to support the women, and that by that I mean financially, by that I mean emotionally. You see, being a woman and playing sports in this part of the world has its own fair share of challenges. You're dealing with different kinds of mindsets, and like I said, there is improvement in that regard, but it's still there. It's imbibed in our culture. So, first of all, the board needs to support them in that sense. Where, for example, you have somebody like Sanamir. So she needs to go. I feel like somebody like her can use her voice and create awareness about women in sports. Because there is that whole notion of how can you talk about a traditional family in Pakistan, and they will always have their concerns sending their girls out to be playing sports because of so many different reasons. So to have a role model like Sana Mir, or anybody else, like even I try and wherever I go, I really try and encourage girls and women to take up sports because that is there. So in terms of the sports board, first of all, they need to provide them with the right kind of facilities. The accessibility aspect is always there. So for example, if there is a girl from, let's say, Larkana, right? She if for her to be playing cricket is going to be, and she's interested in playing in cricket. For her to be playing cricket is not going to be as easy for a girl from, let's say, Lahore, because Lahore has better facilities, right? Lahore has the infrastructure. You need a whole kit. First of all, you need a whole kit bag. A kit bag is very expensive for somebody who comes from a humble background, right? So the board needs to provide funding and provide help and support financially, make more grounds accessible, spread awareness about how we need to be encouraging women to be coming forth, and it's you challenging the mindsets of people. So the board can actually play a very positive role, like I said, in so many different ways. It's just about getting your structure right and sort of executing all the plans and visions that you have properly. I don't think I have time to try makeup trends. I feel like makeup was also something which is very natural, natural in that sense, because it was always a passion, right? And I did all those courses, so I can do my makeup in a moving car now. I don't, even for this work, which requires a hair and makeup team, I just do my makeup myself because I know how to do it. So it helps me save time in getting ready. I need to get my hair done mostly, but with makeup, I'm like, because I know that and I'm more comfortable doing it myself, I don't give it to anybody else, that responsibility to anybody else to be doing it. I'm very particular about that. Well, actually, thing is that while I work, it gets very difficult because if there's like a tournament or a series, then I'm working long hours. Matches are sometimes finishing past midnight. Then I'm doing post-match studio after that. By the time I get done, it gets very late. Um, but whichever off day I have, or if I do get a time period in which I'm not doing much, like I'm not working on a series or something, then I kind of dedicate that time to my fitness and I work out regularly. I train, uh, try and eat healthy. I mean, like I eat properly, but like I try and just get into a zone of being healthy for a certain period of time. So I think this is a very tough one. I have to always be the neutral person and give all the politically correct answers. Um, I don't know. I feel like honestly, this is going to sound very political and diplomatic, but all the teams bring so much flavor to the league, and everybody has its own traits and characteristics. Like, Karachi is so vibrant. Karachi Kings, they bring all the energy and the color onto the ground because they bring their set of entertainment and entertainers along with them. And they have Babar Azam in their side, who's like the number one batsman. Well, he's one of the best batsmen in the world. Then they've got Amir. So they have a great combination. Then you've got Zalmi, which has a very Peshawari feel to it. Everything is Peshawari and very deep rooted with their songs and their themes. Then Quetta is Quetta. It's been one of the most, well, not in the last 2 years, but one of the most successful teams when they had Viv Richards in their dugouts. Islamabad is the most successful team of the. They always select players very, very after careful thought and consideration. They're very good in making their team like combination and their balance and all that. But I think because I'm from Lahore, always have a soft spot for Lahore Qalandars, and they haven't won up till now. Last year was good for them because they reached the finals. This year was looking like they've got a better team. They were like in the top three of the table, and then obviously it got postponed. But I think this year I would still say that they have a good team. I'm not interested in politics at all. I have absolutely, like, I keep hearing, obviously, because it's so, like, now we're in a very well-informed world with all the technology available and social media. So you're well-informed in terms of what's happening in the country. But I have no inclination towards politics. I have no idea. It's something which is completely different to what my interests are. Um, and my father, of course, he used to, like, for him, I'm living his dream. He wanted to be a cricketer and he got very close to getting into the side, but then because of some personal reasons, he couldn't. So he, through me, is actually living his dream. So for him, it's like he gets so proud when he sees me because it's almost like I'm fulfilling the unfulfilled aspect of his life. So I think my parents are extremely happy, and they definitely have some. They've all, in their own ways, had their level of influence over me in taking this up and taking this career seriously. My message to them, who are everybody who's inspired, everybody who aspires to be in this field, is that you must remember that there are no shortcuts in life. I've had to struggle really hard after I got that first opportunity. The first opportunity is always a great one because you feel like you've sort of put your foot through the door, but it's actually more difficult after that because you have to then find your way and keep on achieving, keep on accomplishing, moving on to the next thing, making, working really hard to make your name, proving people wrong. You're becoming, it has its own challenges when you're a public figure and you have to deal with people and their opinions. So that is also quite challenging in its own. But you have to be very thick-skinned, uh, but more importantly, persistent. Because the difference between wishful thinking and actually achieving success for me has been persistence. And I read this somewhere as well, that persistence is the difference. There's one thing where you sit and you dream about things, or you wish that, oh, I wish I could get this, and then being actually able to achieve all of that is persistence. Because when you persist with something, and you don't give up and you don't get bogged down by failures, because failures do happen. Failures happened in my career as well. And there's still days when I mess up. There's still days when I'm not on top of things. But it's what you learn from that experience and move on to the next is what makes or breaks you. So no shortcuts in life. Be passionate about what you want to be doing, because if you're just doing it for the sake of doing it, there are good chances that you won't be able to survive. You have to love your job. You have to love what you're doing. And you have to take every day as a new day and a new challenge. So yeah, that's my message. So I am like, I always, when I was asked this question, I think in 2019, I was giving a interview at that point, and I used to say that, oh, I'd love to work for the ICC and do the World Cup, and I already achieved that because I worked with them. It was actually that very same year that I managed to get a chance to work with them, because it's a World Cup. Like, who doesn't want to work in the World Cup? And there'd never been a girl, or anyone for that matter, from Pakistan, like a non-cricketing personality, that had represented Pakistan at that stage. So for me, that was like the biggest goal that I always had. Like, I would only dream of doing that. And that too, the home of cricket, Lords, in England, which is like uh, one of my favorite countries as it is. So I think it was an absolute dream come true, and that was my ultimate goal. After that, it's really about persistence on what I'm doing and sustenance. So, sort of carrying on all the good work and getting, making the most of all the opportunities that I get. So it's just about, like I said, capitalizing on all the opportunities that I get, because now I'm in a position where I can pick and choose what I want to be doing and what I don't want to be doing, thankfully. So if this work, this field, and it always provides you with new opportunities. You'll always get new broadcasters contacting you saying, "Oh, we want to work with you," or so. For me, at this point of time, is just doing good work, not everything, selective work, but good work.